On this week's edition of Uncomfortably Pink, we have another original. But this one's not quite like the others, and... oh, what's this? A trumpet? Ah, yeah. That's the difference. Yep, we have a trumpet canopy. And what else do we have? Two-piece oil cup. Really? Yeah. Two-piece. You got the brass oil cup there. Then you have that there, which is the other part of the switch handling. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So. Yeah. And then here we have the tag. This is model 22206. Of course, it's not dated because why would it be? That would only make too much sense. Yep. No date. What a little horse shit that is. However, what I have gathered is that these things, the 22206, was made between 1973 and I think 1977. Yeah, between 1973 and 1977. It uses a 1.9 amp motor. Alright. It's wound for 2 speeds. This was a new thing they started in 1973 because everything from the beginning of time, probably the late aughts, alright, early teens, used a speed coil. Now they used a speed coil with 3 speeds. Okay, and they used the speed coil up until 1973, or 72 really. And I think that model was 22046 under the R&M era after the, you know, the old letter code was abandoned in favor of a new one. And also at that point things changed from say R52 to an actual model number. That was 58. So yeah, this, yeah, it's wound for 2 speeds. It has the same harmonics as an antique. So yeah, good times. Very, very good times. Now this fan is one of 2. It came from Ocean City, not Ocean City, Maryland, but Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, which is one of the beach towns along the Delmarva Peninsula, which some of you may know is absolutely loaded, and I mean loaded, with fans. Like, no joke. Loaded. So, yeah. Because of course this would come from there, right? It's already full of everything else. Why not one of these, right? So anyway, let's see what this thing will do on low. Yep, that is low speed. Yeah, so in 73, right, Hunter, they decided they wanted to save money, right? At least start saving money, because speed coils added a bit of cost to every fan. So they decided they would use a coil tap for a second speed. They would wind it for 2 speeds. Alright, this, again, it was a new thing for them. And this continued into the 2.5 amp motors, you know, and then that all ended when things went back to 3-speed coil taps and PSC motors in 1984. But technically, actually, 3-speed shaded pull in 83, but we don't talk about those too much because they tend to kill themselves just a bit. So, yeah. So this low speed is actually pretty on par with the low speeds of pretty much every other R&M original with 2-speed. So the speed range is actually pretty average. Well, there are only 2 speeds, so there's really no average, but the low speed's about the same as the 2.5 amp motors. Has a slight wobble. The blades are slightly warped, which is, I guess, to be expected in a humid environment. These fans were taken care of. They were oiled. Because when I got these things, you know, they spun very freely, which meant there was oil left on the shaft, which means whoever got these drained them before it got to where I got it from. Low speed is very quiet. I think the 22206 was also the beginning of Hunter using a thicker motor housing. Because all the antiques have a slightly thinner housing. Whereas this one is as thick as every other original you see today. As to why they did this, who knows? Let's go to high. And this is a Leviton pole chain, because there's an off position between speeds. And you know, I might as well let it coast from here. And then I'll start it from high. I might need to clean the shaft. I need to tear this thing down and clean the shaft. The spin down time was a little bit lacking. Now high speed. It does have the same, like I said, same harmonics as the antiques. The same medium pitch, actually medium high pitch startup mode, and it sustains that as it runs. Now, what I have noticed or heard of is that these 2-speed motors tend to fry themselves. Maybe it was due to the design, maybe it was due to the varnish used, I don't know, but they tend to burn out after a bit. After a while. I know somebody who has a couple of these, one of which decided it was time to give up on life, and yeah, just burnt out. Started running very slowly. Now here's the thing. This 1.9 amp motor should be running at 220 RPM. 220 RPM. This is doing about, I want to say 185, maybe 190, which means the speed is a little off. This is why I need an amp meter. Do I have one? Of course not. Do I need one? Yes. So it's running at about the same speed as any other 52-inch original. So it's a pretty average high speed, although I think it should be faster. But that's what the second one's for. I'm going to test that one out and see if there's any difference in the speeds. But this one, I don't know, something's a little off. Now this fan was originally brown with pecan blades. Of course, whoever had it painted it pink. You can see the paint's kind of disappeared from the switch cup because, well, I mean, you know, because the oil kind of just dissolves the paint. Just dissolves it a little bit. Anyway, let's go back to turn it off once more. So yeah, this was another shore fan. And where? The Delmarva Peninsula. It's a gold mine for vintage fans, antique fans. I mean, there's stuff everywhere you look, and lots of stuff hides. Like this one, evidently. So, I mean, yeah. And there you have it. The Hunter Original Model 22206 with the nice trumpet canopy.